Now, Germany has been honouring the tens of thousands of soldiers who served in Afghanistan. The climax of today's proceedings will see the country's armed forces, the Bundeswehr, perform their highest-level military ceremony in front of Parliament in Berlin, watched by the Chancellor Angela Merkel and other dignitaries. The Bundeswehr was deployed to Afghanistan for almost 20 years. Now, DW has been speaking with a former soldier who still carries vivid memories from his 7 deployments. He's planning to mark the end of the mission in a very personal way.
Das sind meine Stiefel, die ich im Einsatz getragen habe.
These are the boots I wore on my mission. I'm taking them with me to close the chapter on my own deployments. I'll place them somewhere near the Parliament building and then leave them and leave the mission behind.
Das ist für mich dann der Abschluss vom Einsatz.
Andreas Eggert was deployed to Afghanistan 7 times. He's one of more than 100,000 German soldiers who served there over the past 2 decades. Their mission began shortly after the 9/11 terrorist attacks in the US in 2001. Germany joined the so-called War on Terror, sending troops to first fight the Taliban, then to help stabilise the country. But what was supposed to be a short mission turned into Germany's longest ever military intervention, and its deadliest since World War II. 59 German soldiers died. But earlier this year, the Taliban quickly regained control of Afghanistan after Western troops were pulled out. It was a devastating blow for those who risked their lives to fight against the group.
Ich habe die Nachrichten in dem Zusammenhang sehr intensiv verfolgt.
I was following the news really closely because it really affected me. I felt helpless here in Germany. I couldn't help. I felt that sometimes when I was in Afghanistan. I want to help, but there's nothing I can do. It was hard to bear seeing those images, and I was dealing with grief too.
Germany's mission to Afghanistan ended abruptly in June. But when the last soldiers returned home, there were no politicians there to greet them, leaving many who'd served feeling forgotten.
After 20 years, and then that's how the government acted, is just not enough.
Eggert wants to see the troops' contributions recognised. For him, the ceremony in Berlin is a step in that direction. But he hopes in the future Germany will do more to support its veterans.
Well, DW's chief international editor, Richard Walker, is covering today's military ceremony in Berlin. Welcome, Richard. Have the various dignitaries giving speeches there been able to put a positive spin on what is essentially a failed campaign?
Yeah, well, Phil, it has been really an extraordinary day of kind of mixed emotions here in Berlin. With soldiers seeking recognition, as we just saw in that report there, for what they did, all of the effort that they put in over those 20 years in Afghanistan. It is tens of thousands of soldiers as well. It's extraordinary just what a proportion of members of the German military have some Afghanistan in their biography. It's really etched into them. So here in Berlin, now we're at, you can see just behind me, this is this extraordinary event called the Große Zapfenstreich. This is a kind of military tattoo that happens after dark, with soldiers holding up flames and music, as you can just hear, setting off here. But at the same time, there is this recognition that the Afghanistan mission did not end in success, that the whole West has pulled out and failed to create this sort of stable state that they were trying to create in Afghanistan. So a day of really extraordinary mixed emotions. But what we heard from the political leaders speaking at the event earlier, from the federal president, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, and also from the Minister of Defense, is whatever failures there were in Afghanistan, they told the soldiers assembled they weren't their failures, that the Bundeswehr, the German military, fulfilled its own mission.
And has Germany actually reached a consensus on what its soldiers and allies actually achieved in Afghanistan?
Well, I would say, Phil, no, it hasn't yet. And that's going to be a process that's going to take some time, not just in Germany, but in other Western countries, of course, as they try to chew through the consequences of what went wrong in Afghanistan. But today, it's all about trying to honor the soldiers, the kind of people who we saw in the report just earlier. The politicians trying to say whatever failures happened weren't their failures.
Richard Walker in Berlin, thank you.